new episode of Lilo and Stitches. We're your hosts, Chris
and Jen.
And it's been a while, but we're coming to you from King's Dominion.
I forgot my name for a minute.
We're coming to you from King's Dominion. We're going to come out here. We're going to check out the Halloween activities they got going on. Specifically Halloween Haunt, which starts today here at King's Dominion. So you guys want to go check it out? Let's go. So they have some really cool theming out here. When you first come up, and I'm sure at night these will look really cool. These really scary, freaky looking pumpkins. You can see Miss Jen back there. But yeah, let's go get inside and see what we can find. So it's all decked out for Halloween. I think we'll find some more decorations down this way, so let's head that way. And of course, Halloween Haunt runs September 25th through October 31st. It's only on the weekend, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we're here on a Saturday, so opening night. Let's check out what else we can see. And of course, during Halloween Haunt, from 2 to 6 every day, they have festivities for the little kids. So they have trick-or-treating and obviously the rides and other activities. So we're going to go ahead and come in here and see if we can get little man a wristband and a bag and see what kind of goodies he can get.
Oh yeah, and hi, I am Little Man. You could call me Lucas or Little Man. And we're here at King's Dominion. I am 7 years old here. I never went here 7 years old. Bye-bye.
So this is the entry to Camp Snoopy, Planet Snoopy. And obviously they have it all decked out for Halloween. And they have all the little places you can go to get treats and lots of rides. Should be pretty neat. The theming out here is pretty neat. Even in the little kids area, you got the, they're not so scary skeletons, but they're doing some funky stuff. So, but there's lots and lots to do out here. So, Little Man and I are going to be riding Lucy's Tugboat. Is that what it's called?
Lucy's Tugboat.
Which one?
Lucy's Tugboat.
Let's see. You excited?
Yes.
All right. Here we go.
Welcome to Lucy's Tugboat. For your safety, we ask that you remain seated with your arms and legs inside the boat at all times. Sit up straight, hold on tight, and enjoy your ride.
Hold on, bud. Uh-oh! Hope you don't get too dizzy. Lucas, are you getting dizzy? This is so much fun. And there's Jen out there. So one of the things you'll notice in this park is obviously there's a lot of decorations, and we did the kids stuff, and now we're waiting for the Halloween Haunt events to start, and that'll start here with the stage show in a minute, and we'll go ahead and show you some of that. As the scare actors are actually going out to their places. This happens every day at the start of the haunted attractions. The scare actors make their way to their scare zones and to their haunted houses. So it's always interesting to see as they walk by people and freak them out. Let's go check out a haunted house. So as you can see, I got my mask on. Now it's not required, but we noticed that the scare actors, the scare actors many of them aren't wearing masks. So when you go into some of the haunted attractions or in the scare zones, you might come in close contact with them and they're not wearing masks. and obviously in some cases they might be yelling boo or screaming in your face. So we chose to wear masks. Obviously other folks may not want to wear them, and that's totally fine. We just felt comfortable wearing ours. So if you see us with masks on, that's why. We just want to let you know. So cameras aren't allowed in the scare houses. So right now we're about to go into Blood on the Bayou. We'll let you know how it goes. We got all the kids with us, so we'll see if they can all hang.
Film them.
What do you think, your first haunted house?
Good.
So one of the unique things here, and I guess it's not unique per se, but they got scare zones all over the place. So we're about to walk through one of the scare zones and see what we can find. So obviously this one is themed to the big top. Nothing too scary for the kids. A little scary there. Now you'll notice the glowing necklaces. Those are for kids or adults or whoever doesn't want to be scared. Those are an extra charge, but it helps the scare actors know not to try to scare you. And we're coming to the end of the scare zone. We made it out of the scare zone, and little man did it too. Well, let's see what else we can see. Hey everybody, so we're back home. It was a good trip.
It was fun.
I think we certainly had fun. It was something Jen and I haven't been able to do in years.
Yeah, the last haunted house that the two of us went in together was about 21 years ago. Way before the kids, before we were even married.
Yep.
That's the last haunted house we went to, which is crazy because I love haunted houses, and haunted houses are a huge part of my childhood and my younger years. But it's just something we have never done together.
Yeah, I think I've always enjoyed just like scary stuff, scary movies. So haunted houses are really, really fun. And for us, it was like, you know, there's always so many, like Michigan is a really big haunted house place. Like they have a magazine that they put out that literally lists all the haunted places within like a half an hour of your home.
And if you're new here, I'm from Michigan.
Yeah.
We lived in Michigan together before we moved to Virginia, which is where King's Dominion is located. It is located in Doswell, Virginia.
Yep.
In case you didn't know that.
So yeah, so we did show, you know, they're open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays from 2 to 6 is the park's open, but that's generally where they have the Great Pumpkin Fest, and that's generally for the little kids, you know. So you go to the Snoopy's Planet area, and you can go on the kids can go on the rides. They get little bags that they can get little treats and trinkets.
We probably should have talked about what King's Dominion is for those who are not local. King's Dominion is our local amusement park.
Yep.
It is owned by Cedar Fair. Cedar Fair owns lots of amusement parks across the country. There is
Knott's Berry Farm
in California, Cedar Point in Ohio, Michigan Adventure in Michigan. They have lots of amusement parks, and all of them have a Planet Snoopy type area. And I believe that they all do something like Halloween Haunt at King's Dominion. So if you have a Cedar Fair amusement park close to you, I'm pretty sure you're going to get the same experience because it's the same company.
Yeah, and in Virginia we have King's Dominion and we have Busch Gardens in Williamsburg.
We've never been there.
Yeah, we've never been there though. So, but in Virginia, those are the couple of ones that we have here.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, we still love Disney World, and that's always going to be where we want to be. But in this case, it was an opportunity for us to do some Halloween-themed stuff.
And we like going to King's Dominion for the kids.
Yeah, and it's fun to go. Not a lot of the rides, unfortunately, at King's Dominion are
fat-friendly.
You did see that I was on one of the rides. It's a kids ride, actually, Lucy's Tugboat. And it's kind of a version of the pirate ship ride in most theme parks that goes up and down.
It's kind of like a pirate ship, except it doesn't swing on a pendulum. It rotates on an axis on the...
Yeah.
And it's connected through the bottom instead of swinging on axis from the top.
Yeah. And I'm a bigger guy, but I was able to fit on the ride with Little Man. And it was fine. I mean, I actually enjoyed the ride. It's very short.
However, do not fit on most of the roller coasters that we have tried. We do fit on the Ferris wheel, obviously, the merry-go-round. There's one roller coaster there, I think it's called the Alpine, but I will double check that. We also fit on that. So there's very few rides that we can actually ride at King's Dominion, which is a big deal, but what you can do. But we do have fun at the Avalanche.
It was an Avalanche.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
We do have fun at the holidays, though, because they do the big haunt event for Halloween, and then for Christmas, they also do Christmas events where they have very much of the same thing, except instead of scary characters, they have Christmas characters out roaming like they do with the scary characters.
Christmas themed shows, hot cocoa.
And we became annual pass holders, so we will be going back for the Christmas. So there'll be another video on that as well.
Now, that was the other thing that was really interesting was when I was looking at the prices for the tickets, because if you look at haunted houses, right? Haunted houses are like $30-$40 nowadays. And King's Dominion has... Per person. And King's Dominion has a bunch of haunted houses. They have haunted scare zones. And then they have the different shows. And it was something like $50 a person just to go to Halloween Haunt. But at the same time, for $80, you could be an annual pass holder. Like, okay, it makes more sense to do that because then you can come back again. Because we're actually going to go back in another week or two when our niece comes home for the weekend from college. And we're all going to go and take her with us. And then maybe go back when they do the Christmas stuff. And then on top of that, they have water parks. So maybe next year in the summertime, we might go a couple times to that. And then we still can go to the next year's Halloween stuff on our passes that we bought this year. So it's definitely going to pay for itself. But
it'll pay for itself in the second trip.
In the second trip. But other than that, I mean, so you saw we did go into a haunted house called Blood on the Bayou.
And it was Little Man's very first haunted house. And I'm going to take a minute to talk about this because my kid did so good. Okay? In the past, we have gone to Halloween Haunt with him, but he was still in a stroller. So he was very small. I think he was like 5. I think he was like 5. 5 or 6? 4 or 5?
He was 4.
Okay, he was 4.
And the only reason he was in the stroller was just, it was easier to transport him, not because
that's
he needed it.
Irrelevant. Anyway, last time we went, he was young, he was still in the stroller. We got him the no scare necklace. It's called a no boo necklace. Yep. So the scary people will not go out of their way to scare those people and will stay away from that. And adults can wear the no boo necklaces. Yeah. And it does cost extra. So how much were they, like $15?
I believe it was $15 for the necklace.
They were $10 the last time we went. Yeah. But yeah, and you wear the necklaces and they stay away from you. And that's what we did with Little Man last time because he was a little bit scared. And I taught him, like, if he gets scared, just to laugh at the ghosts and the goblins and all that. And so last time he did good. He was a little bit scared, but he did really good. But this time, I told him, I said, I'm not buying you a no scare necklace and you're going in a haunted house. And I prepared him that these are people in costume and they're trying to scare you, that you don't have to be afraid of them. Yeah. And with some of the issues the little man has, having ADHD, and just his brain works differently than ours, I was really happy with the way he responded. I put him behind me in line, and I told him, I was like, I'm fat. You can stand behind me, and I'm fat enough that you can completely be hiding behind me, and you don't have to look at anything if you get afraid. And I was like, just stay with me. And then behind us was Chris, and our daughter, our 16-year-old daughter, was behind him. And she was more scared than her brother.
And the funny thing about that, though, is like she's at the point now where she doesn't want to have anything to do with us. And
That's not true.
Well, but anyway, and throughout the entire thing, she was squeezing my hand, holding onto my arm, leaning into me, and I was like, "Oh, Daddy's little girl again."
It's so weird. But little man, on the other hand, started off behind me, and he had a few of the characters just screaming in his face, like trying to scare him. And one of the scare actors, actually, it was a butcher shop scene, and there was like a dead pig thing in the butcher shop case, and he was holding on to my hand, and he actually stepped out in front of me to lead me through the haunted house. And the scare actor got in his face. He was like, "Are you holding Mommy's hand? Well, you won't be when I cut it off." He didn't even flinch and just walked around the guy and kept going through the haunted house. And I was so proud because he wasn't scared, and I'm very glad of that. But he enjoyed it. He had a fun time. But he also stood in front of me to protect me and get me through the house.
Yeah, because the rest of the way, it was like halfway through. So the rest of the other half, he led the way.
He led. He was. I was so proud because when I used to go when I was a teenager, I would always stand at the front of the line because everyone else was scared. I was like, I'll go first, and they would be behind me freaking out.
Yeah, and there was a ton of people, so we unfortunately didn't get to go in any of the other haunted houses just because of the wait and some other issues we'll talk about in a minute. But the crowds in terms of being in the haunted house, it was close quarters. So there's folks out there who are still not comfortable being in groups. Obviously, this is probably not a place for you to go because it was pretty tight quarters.
They had us just jammed in there with all of the other people in line. They were just pumping us into the haunted house. But on top of that, the scare actors were very much right in your face, and they were not masked.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they have a vaccine requirement or if they do testing even on their employees. I have no idea any of that. So we chose to wear our masks. Even though we are vaccinated, I just felt safer us wearing a mask.
Yeah,
all of us.
and I don't have an issue other people not wearing their masks or don't want to wear masks. Totally
our opinions are our opinions. Your life is your life. You do you.
Yeah.
No judgment, but that's our experience.
We just felt more comfortable doing it that way, and that's what we did. And
another reason is we watch another podcaster who is a Disney podcaster, and he went to haunted houses, and he was vaccinated, and he did not wear his mask, and he caught the coronavirus. And so I was like, all right, we are especially wearing masks, because if the scare actors aren't wearing and they're in your face spitting, you're getting their saliva in your face.
But at the end of the day, I mean, it was still a blast going through the haunted house.
It was.
Little man had fun. Our daughter had fun. We certainly had fun, and it was nice to see Jen's happy about it because she hadn't been in one in so long.
I had so much fun.
So I definitely, and they offer like these things where you get to the front of the line. I mean, unfortunately, it's really expensive, and it's not something that I would pay for. But it's like it was one of those things where I wish we could have, because I would have loved to be able to go to
every haunted
house. Or going in them multiple times just so Jen could actually go through as many as she wanted.
But if you think about it, when we lived in Michigan, if we went to a haunted house, because they were spread out, and some of them were like 30-mile road, and we lived at like the equivalent of like -2-mile road, and this was like a 30-mile road, we would drive really long distances to go to one haunted house. And stand in line for 2 hours to get in. So driving an hour to go to King's Dominion and going to one haunted house, I was happy. I was good. Plus, they also have the scare zones. And the scare zones, there's no line. And granted, you're not going to be as scared walking through the scare zones because you saw our video. They're just the scare actors tend to go after the people who look the most scared, and we don't ever look scared because we're usually laughing, and so they don't tend to mess with us. Which is a bad thing. I want you to try to scare me at least a little.
You would think they would try to scare me. Big dude walking through, they try to scare me. They don't. It's like I'm like, come on, try to scare me.
I know. I know they don't mess with us.
But yeah, I mean, all in all, it was fun. And before we went, one of the things I was looking for was trying to find places that we could eat that had gluten-free options for Jen and our daughter. And they're
We both are. We're not gluten free because of a diet fad or anything. We are required to be gluten free because we have gluten intolerance.
Yeah, and so there was a few places that offered food. You know, they had places that had burgers and fries where the burger was swapped with a gluten-free bun, or another place that had like steaks, or a smokehouse that had barbecue stuff that was gluten-free. And we hadn't eaten dinner because we left at like 3 to head down there. And so we got there and we did our thing, we did the haunted house, and then we said, okay, well, let's just grab some food. So we went to a place called Jukebox Diner, which is at the back of the park, and they had indicated they had gluten-free burgers and fries. At this point, Jen's not really hungry, our daughter's not really hungry, but I'm hungry, and my son is begging for food. So I take little man in there.
Little man was starving.
Yeah, little man was starving, so I take him in there. And the line is just standstill, like nothing is going on.
They were in there easily an hour.
Yeah, and I asked the guy who had the shirt that said supervisor, like, what's going on? He's like, well, we're understaffed. And I'm like, okay. And the way they had the line set up is there was one line there was a kiosk that if you have their dining plan, you go in that line and then you punch in what you want, you scan your card, and it takes off one of your credits. And then they had another line which was you pay by cash or credit card. So I told him, I'm just trying to figure out where I need to go. And he's like, well, you're actually in the wrong line. You got to go over there to go to if you're paying by credit card. So I went in the other line, stood there for another 30 minutes or so, get all the way up to the front, and I went to order, and they wouldn't take my order because I was in the wrong line. And I said, I was told to come here because I'm paying by credit card. They said, no, you need to get in that line and go to that kiosk and order to get a receipt to then come to the register and pay.
It was a mess.
And it was just like I had literally just spent an hour standing in line for nothing. And the supervisor then is arguing over the counter that I should have told him, I should have better explained what I was doing. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm done. So needless to say, their dining options were extremely chaotic.
And it wasn't just their dining options. Like, they clearly had no idea what to do with the crowds, because even when we were in the haunted house, they would send us into 3 separate boxes that they built to have our photo made, and they were sending some to the left, some to the right, and then there was a third, and it was just a box that they built, like a little shed made out of
one
plywood.
Way in, one way out. Yep.
Yeah, one way in, one way out. And all 3 lines were supposed to merge and then go into a line into the haunted house. They had no idea where they were sending people, and people were forming their own lines and coming the wrong direction, and it was just chaos, and people were getting mad and arguing, and there was other people trying to cut the line, and so they have no idea what they're doing at King's Dominion.
Yeah.
And maybe we're just spoiled by Disney, like, that may be true, but like, it was chaos. And while we really enjoyed the haunted house, we really enjoyed the scare actors, and we had a good time, there were some major downfalls that King's Dominion really needs to work on. But other than that, it was fun, and I'm not gonna dwell
and
on
we'll
the
go
negative
back.
at all.
I mean, we're gonna go back. It's not.
And we're gonna wear our masks.
Yeah, we're gonna go back. We're gonna wear our masks. Dining will probably, if we did do dining there,
We're not gonna.
I was to say, if we did, then it would be at one of the places up front that has like the steak.
Because directly across the street from King's Dominion is what, Burger King or
Burger King.
Burger King?
That's where we ended up going.
We got everybody French fries.
Yeah.
Everybody was happy.
Yeah, we ended up just going through the scare zone, and then you saw that we actually checked out they do a pretty neat little scare zone underneath the Eiffel Tower they have there, and it lit up, and it was really nice. And then
also, the thing I really like that King's Dominion does well is they have that stage that I showed you guys where they were singing Ballroom Blitz. They do really good shows there that make you want to dance, that make you want to sing and join along, and it's really good the way the actors and the singers and the performers are. I really enjoyed that part, and they had a whole setup for Phantom of the Opera, which Juliana and our daughter Juju and I both really like Phantom of the Opera. So it was cool. They had really cool effects up there too,
and they have shows throughout the park. So we only showed you the front of the park, the main stage. But they had, a band near the back.
Like a rock band.
Yeah, they had a rock band near where we went to try to get food. And then
they were on top of like a scary bus or something.
Yeah, and they were doing like
cool.
different music. They had, and then for folks who are interested, they have like a beer tent type thing. They have a taco truck there.
Yeah.
I mean, they got all kinds of stuff. And
Which
then
is where you probably should have went to get food, because that food actually looked decent.
I agree. I probably should have went there.
And little man loves tacos.
But needless to say,
that little 7-year-old can eat like 5 tacos by himself.
Yeah. Most of the rides were still operating, so even if you're not there for the scare stuff, a lot of the rides are still operating, so you can ride the rides at night or whatever you want.
The kids went on a roller coaster, and they also went on the merry-go-round.
Yeah.
What's that called? Carousel.
Yeah, the carousel. So, yeah, so we could have done more, but we were really there focused on trying to do some of the haunted stuff, just to really get that in. And I think next time we go, we kind of have an idea how to do it, because one of the things we noticed was, and I mentioned this to Jen when we were sitting there, I said, because the stage show kind of draws people to the opening of the haunted stuff. But if you go straight to the back of the park, while the stage show is going on, you can get in the haunted stuff.
Get in line for the haunted houses before the crowd rushes out. Most of the crowds,
because as soon as we got back to where we were, the stage show had just ended, and we were pretty close in line. I mean, it still took a little bit, but we were pretty close in line.
Yeah.
And then it was just a rush of people behind us that the line got extremely
And by
long.
the time the whole fiasco with trying to get food and everything happened, when we walked past that haunted house again, it had been an hour since we exited, and the line was probably, I don't know, like 150 people deep.
Yeah.
It was way out into the park.
And there's no way of knowing how long. I mean, they try to tell you how long the lines are, but their time, I think in the line we were in, it said 2 minutes, and we were in the line for about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
which isn't bad for a haunted house, but still.
No, but
I'm not waiting 2 hours.
Right, but that was when we first got in it. And so if we had waited and been with everybody else, it could have easily been an hour.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be the plan when we go back, is we're just going to
figure out which one we ought to go to first.
I'm really first. Haystalkers up by the front. And in previous years, they have a car ride that is, you drive what looks like an old
Model Ts.
Yeah, old Model T car, and you drive it on a track that you can't go off the track.
Yeah.
And in past years, they made that ride haunted, so you're literally driving your own little car through the Blue Ridge region, and they have scare actors in there, but they didn't have it this year, and it would have been so cool if they did, because that was like everyone's favorite attraction.
It's basically a fun take on a haunted hayride kind of thing.
Yeah, except you're driving it
yourself. You're driving an old Model T, and they're just jumping out at you.
It was a lot of fun, because I let the kids drive when we go on that ride, and in the past we went with our nieces, and Juju, little man was too little to go on it. And so I had my niece driving, and I just kept scaring the crap out of her when she was driving. She was yelling at me, Aunt Johnny!
Yeah. So, I mean, it was still a good time. There were some disappointing parts about it, but I think for, as in most local amusement parks, you're going to get a mix of quality, because they're not the mega theme parks like Disney World or places like that. So we don't go in there expecting the world like when we go to Disney World. But we definitely had a blast when it comes to the haunted house, and the scare zones.
Yeah.
And the shows were cool.
Was it worth the money to you?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was still worth the money.
Me too.
So.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because I like haunted houses, and I fully intend on using it just for the haunted houses right now, and we'll be good.
Yeah.
All right.
So we'll definitely be back. Glad we can take you along. We definitely have some more to come. More stuff that we'll eventually be able to show.
I want to try to get a video up. We took a visit to Georgia Aquarium, and it's going to be a short video, but we went in the summertime, and I wanted to show you guys because I took some footage. It was really cool. And also, before we let you go, if you've made it this far, there's a giveaway in this video. So let me grab the prize, because we hit 1,000 subscribers here on our channel very quickly, and I actually didn't think it would get that far that fast. And so, if you want to enter the giveaway, I just want you to say something about Halloween. Like, what is your favorite haunted thing to do? Do you like haunted houses?
I was just saying, other than haunted, I mean, what's your favorite Halloween
What is your favorite Halloween activity? Put that in the comments. Yep. And we have a Disney prize that we can give to you. And this is a Stitch Crashes Disney pin, and it is the Snow White edition. of these are limited edition. These are hard to come by, and we're going to give this away to one of you lucky subscribers as a thank you for getting us to 1,000 subscribers, as a thank you for being here. And as you know, Lilo and Stitches is the name of our channel, so we got to have a Stitch prize.
Of course. And we love you guys. I mean, you guys, you know, some of the comments that we see.
Really awesome.
Definitely. Matter of fact, before we go to, there was one question somebody had asked just recently, and I wanted to make sure that I actually brought it up.
You gotta hurry up because our battery's dying.
Okay, I will hurry up. So give me 1 second here. All right. Of course, it's going to take me forever. Stop.
Find the question, cause our battery's dying.
Here we go. Oh, okay. I have a question. On the rock and roller coaster at Disney World at Hollywood Studios, how is the seat sized for the hips? How is this as far as the ride goes? Do they need to be worried about as far as the molded seat shape? So unfortunately for us, on Rock and Roller Coaster, we are actually, I think it's too much for us now.
I fit on Rock and Roller Coaster. The only problem I had with Rock and Roller Coaster is, because have you been on Rock and Roller Coaster?
Not in a long time.
Okay, my issue with Rock and Roller Coaster is you are really close to your neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're going with somebody you know, cool, because your arm will be over touching them.
Yeah.
If you are not with someone that, like if they put a single rider next to you, you're going to be touching a stranger. And so it's going to happen. My other issue is my boobs.
Yeah.
So they have the ride constraint that comes down this way.
And it squishes
and
you.
it squishes and crushes you like you're having a mammogram. So it just, that was the part that bothered me. And I have overhang here. I did not have problem in my hips.
Yeah,
at all. But you're really close with your neighbor.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is if you feel like you're going to be too wide to have a single rider with you, talk to the cast member. Because a lot of times you can tell the cast members, hey, look, I know you guys put single riders in the seat.
The cast members are really awesome for fat people at Disney World.
And you let them know that
they are understanding.
Over.
Just say, I'm big enough that I'm going to spill into that seat.
Yeah, and they'll put you on in a car where nobody's next to you.
They're really good at accommodating that.
We usually, if I have a concern, I'll ask, but talk to your cast member. Unfortunately, they don't have a test seat that you can try out in the front. But I mean, certainly, unless you have any more concerns beyond that, I think you should be fine, because like Jen mentioned, it's the thing that pulls down on top that kind of can be an issue for some people. So, but just
to give you an idea, I'm a size 28 at Torrid Lane Bryant size, and I get fatter when I sit down. So that's what I'm measuring the seat on.
Yeah.
All right. So for the prize, what's your favorite Halloween activity? And I will pick one winner to get this fantastic. And this is a pin, and it is this big, so it's pretty darn cool.
Pretty large pin.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
Have a good one. Bye. I'm gonna say.